to live in shock. But our knowledge exceeds us way above that. We are talking about freedom time again. Freedom time. Freedom time again. Freedom time. Freedom time at last. Freedom time. Freedom time again. Freedom time. It's time for everyone to be free. Talking about everyone, even you and me. There is no more years and days to spend crying. Why is some man where they are chilling and say about God, Rastafari, nobody to talk for them, nobody to song for sing higher. And I can't steal this man sing it higher, so I'm always singing to them because you know what? I had a poor man sing Rasta, I had a poor man lie. Hear this. Sweet freedom, won't you come my way? Come along, come along, hey. Sweet freedom, won't you come my way? So long I've been waiting for you, my God. Sweet freedom.
Stay tuned to the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Well, from them, we're going to now and bring the Good Morning Salon program. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Salon. Good morning, Freetown, and good morning to all we listeners and radio tuned from different parts of the country and outside Salon, live from New Englandville studio. And welcome to another edition of the program Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Today, now Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, and we're glad for bringing this edition of the program come to you. And we will bring this program come to you this Wednesday morning. My name Adeyemi Jackson.
And Musa Kamara, good morning. The thought of the day say, kindness is a language everyone understands. We mean say, goodness, not the word we everybody can hear. We main points them inside today's edition of the program Good Morning Salon. According to the program manager for the Dorothy Springer Trust Foundation, Sonny Swari Kurma, the 2025 audit report shows say the Minister of Finance not been give money to the Special Educational Needs and Disability Unit, now the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education for Special Needs School them. We don't they unbog the radical inclusion policy. The acting executive director at the Center for Accountability and the Rule of Law, Carl Jeremy Ben Simbo, don't ask President Bio for set up one committee for investigate the National Social Security Insurance Trust NASIT the investments them. And today inside the program we go talk to the presidential spokesman Alhaji Alpha Kanu and the head of International IDEA Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawali. We go talk about the leadership gap between some ministers and deputy them and the impact this gets on national development and program implementation.
The program now, Good Morning Salon, they come to you live from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Members say you can listen to it live on www.radiodemocracy.sl and from we partner radio stations them.
You dey listen me live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM na Freetown, Radio Shalom 89.5 na Koinadugu and Falaba District, Radio Malen 88.5, Radio 1J 101.3 na Pujon District, Radio Kolente 90.0 na Cambia, Radio Moi 105.5 na Kailau, Vopad Radio na Watalo, Voice of Sando on 95.7 na Kono District, Voice of Karine na Kamakwe on 98.0, Voice of Masoro na Pujon District, Advocacy Radio na Potloko District, Radio Katbami on 106.7 na Tonko Limba, Art FM on 95.9 na Moyamba District, and Tongo Radio on 107.5 FM.
the program now Good Morning Salon. You can be part of the program by where you go ask question or make comment by we WhatsApp number on 077981981. Also we SMS line on 077981981. Or gonna we get the Democracy Facebook page and YouTube page. Which you go follow the program live. Drop a question or comment on the issues that we will discuss inside the program today. The program now Good Morning Salon.
We start for look at the issues. We will say the chairman for the ECOWAS Authority Heads of States and Governments, President Julius Maada Bio, don't call on ECOWAS leader them for support them for do business. This go contribute to the economy in the region. And make this call, we even the commission the new ECOWAS headquarters na Abuja. For more on this, we join Kabia.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, then be set up inside May 28, 1975. Through the Treaty of Lagos, this organization work now for promote economic integrity, peace, security, free movement of people and goods them, and cooperation among West African countries them. ECOWAS been start with 15 member states them, but Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger don't withdraw their membership from this organization. For give strength to the work of the regional body, make the Chinese government be don't go hand over new ECOWAS Commission headquarters where them build na Abuja, Nigeria. And this building, plenty people they call on the Eye of West Africa, we go serve as headquarters for ECOWAS Commission as they continue for coordinate the work of the organization across the region.
Today, we inaugurate this headquarters. Tomorrow, its purpose begins. Let every corridor reflect integrity. Let every office inspire excellence. Let every meeting produce solutions. Let every decision strengthen the confidence of the people of this community that we serve. And may this headquarters be remembered not for the beauty of its architecture, but for the wisdom of its decisions. Not for the offices that it contains, but for the lives it improves, and not for its scale, but for the quality of service and the impact of its work. Serve every member state with professionalism, impartiality, and respect. Serve every citizen with dedication, humility, and purpose in every decision that we make in this building. Place the interests of the people of West Africa above all else.
You been there listening to the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of States and Governments, President Julius Maada Bio, where they explain the role of the commission for CICE, then do them where go benefits the region. President Bio been carry on for talk about the progress them where in say ECOWAS don't make for CICE, then promote constitutional order, democracy, peacekeeping and other one them na the region.
In parts of our region, constitutional order has been disrupted, democratic governance interrupted, and the path to civilian rule remains uncertain. These developments extend far beyond the countries directly concerned. They affect the confidence of our citizens, the credibility of our community, and the moral authority with which we speak for West Africa.
The president been talk about why it's important for make leader in Africa invest more by young people.
If we invest wisely in education, technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship, our great exports will no longer be raw materials. It will be our talent, our ideas, our leadership, contributing not only to Africa's progress, but to the prosperity of the world. More than 60% of our population is under the age of 25. They are not simply leaders of tomorrow, they are the greatest opportunity of today, the young people.
The president be same way so call on leaders across the region for create more space and opportunity for women for do business.
We must also continue to empower the women of West Africa to participate fully in driving economic growth, strengthening communities, advancing peace, and shaping our collective future.
The chairman for the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Julius Madabio, be end up call on ECOWAS member states them for continue for day together so that in say they go give strength to regional cooperation and make sure say every decision where ECOWAS go take go there for promote peace, security, democracy and unity among member states them. For Radio Democracy, Kabia the reports.
The program is still listening to now. Good morning, Saloon. We come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. And as you hear it from we headline stories them today, we talk to the presidential spokesman, we na Alhaji Alpha Kanu, and also we go talk to the head for international idea, we na Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawali. We can look at the issues them we can be between ministers and deputies and also sector heads and whose impact this gets on the country programs implementation and national growth. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue to come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. And inside the edition of the program, we get for join with colleague Usman Kamara, we they attend the International Governmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, JABA meeting na Dakar. We'll get from him as to within don't they happen na the conference day and the meeting and witness some of the action points them. Anytime we get them, we will link them up. But inside the program, Good Morning Saloon, I want for welcome one we studio guest them. We na the head for international idea and also head of political science department na the from Afrobe College, University of Salon, Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawali. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, Musa and your team. Thanks for having me.
Welcome for come na the program. We'll go join you shortly inside the program. Good morning, Salon. And as I mentioned, anytime we get we colleague anytime from now, we go link them up as we try for get them now. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. They come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We continue for look at issues as we try for get we colleague on the line. Are they hear me?
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue inside the program. They look at another issue. Inside the Minister of Plan and Economic Development, Kenya Bale, say the ECOWAS mid-year summit where Salon the host go open opportunity for investment in area them like peace building, economic integration, and other things them for West African country. Jaffa Mans Davis get more Angola reports. The program now Good Morning Salon, they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We producer, they try for look for the insert. Once we get time, we go and bring a come to listeners. And meanwhile, we they come now studio to we studio guests, as we mentioned earlier. Today inside the program, we they look at the issues that make it there between ministers and deputy ministers, and what this mean for service delivery in the country. And already in the studio we don't joined by Dr. Mahmoud Idris, we now the head of Department of Political Science for Abbey College, and also head of International Idea, as it already don't join me in the studio. Good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Salon.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We also expect to be joined at the studio by the presidential spokesman Alhaji Alpha Kanu. We can talk about government position on this issue. The program Good Morning Salon will continue. Well, meanwhile, we come over to our studio guest. As we mentioned earlier, we don't see issues of disconnect between ministers and deputy ministers. And this don't happen way back since the regime of Alhaji Ahmad Tijan Kaba down to Ernest Bai Koroma and the current president. You are a lecturer in the Political Science Department and also head of International Idea. First and foremost, what do you take on the issue of the disunity among ministers and deputy ministers across the board?
Well, thank you very much. Just for preface my conversation with a few things, yes. I'm the head of the Department of Political Science at Abbey College. I also the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. My thoughts today are my personal views, and I don't represent rather the University of Sierra Leone International Idea. And I also see I don't put me together with my uncle, Koto Alpha Kanu. Usually I know for let me in good in the studio on issues of this nature. But for answer your question, I consider this is a very mundane question as much as it's very important.
Okay.
Mundane in the sense this is an everyday life question. It's like asking why, if any part of your body sick, whose implication you will get on your body, right? You also they mean say, imagine you tire of the motorcar bus. What's the hand they will get on the vehicle? So that makes it mundane. However, this is really, really critical because it's really, really important. So it speaks to what we refer to as functional coherence in governance. So functional coherence simply means every aspect of society, right? So right now in the case of governance, every aspect of the governance system for work together, right? This for coordinate with this for coordinate with that. Any parts where a problem get the potential for affect the productivity of the states. So first of all, it's in a government. Governments na the machinery we're responsible for the effective management of the state, right? And that machinery they get a couple of structures, right? So ministers only fit to one of that structure, and that structure is referred to as the executive. The head of the executive is His Excellency, the President. You get Parliament, we're not the lawmaking institution, and we get oversight over the executive and other institutions. Then you get the judiciary, right? Where actually they interpret the laws where the legislature they make. Then you get, increasingly these days, civil society and the fourth estate. All of those agencies, all of those institutions have to work together, right? Have to work together for let government function. So if you ask me the question, I refer to it as mundane. Mundane because if you grab in the morning, you want foot no work, it affects the entire body. You motokawa like this motokawa drive come Hastings this morning come. If fuel no day, enough for the able come. So to answer your question, there is what we call functional coherence in governance. We mean say this part for work with this. On the executive, and I am not surprised if minister and deputy minister no get good relationship. It's fine.
Okay.
It's okay simply because, and just like I end this point, Musa, it's okay simply because even for who we married, the gap in the money the woman will go pay money for, right? That one they go turn in face under, the other one turn in face under, right? People clash, right? But you have a system to deal with that. That system is called cabinet, and cabinet is chaired by His Excellency the President, where the government overarching policy will drive the functions of ministers. If that does not happen, then there is a failure of governance.
We therefore cite some examples we don't happen in the open.
Mm-hmm.
But you come up from the political science department, though you say they represent, you view, na individual view, they represent the international idea and not the political science department. But as somebody where they around governance, you in any way aware of situations like this?
There is none way me don't know of publicly. And this is not to say they are not happening. But I'm not aware of anyone where somebody don't tell. Maybe some years ago, there was a time when, and I'm happy my uncle is here, in the time of President Koma. I don't know if this guy was it in the Ministry of Social Welfare? Brian Martil. I wasn't in Sierra Leone, until I had a study where there was a public spat between he and a minister. But for me, two people having a disconnect, and in the annals of public sector governance, that's not a problem, right? People can disagree on issues. Where the problem comes is governance presupposes that you have the structures to deal with this. So if you go to the US and countries like Nigeria, for instance, increasingly we don't begin getting a Sierra Leone, right? Go to the West Wing of the White House. You have a guy there called the Chief of Staff. His responsibility, then the chief mechanic of the president. So for instance, if the president get a commitment on dealing with critical issues around education, I don't know if that role we call chief minister now. The chief of staff then now sits with waiting at the issues for deal with the wire, right? Let's bring in the Minister of Education. Where you get money issues, let's bring in the Minister of Finance. But there are labor and employment issues. Let's bring in the Minister of Labor and Employment, right? What are the other people and key within government that we should talk to? You bring all of that. You create a synergy and coordination. Deal with that problem. Reports to the presidency or go back to cabinet. So between minister and deputy minister, the hub through which you deal with these issues is through cabinet. If there is a problem, it means cabinet is not working. If there is a problem, it means governance is not working. Let me tell you what happens in the UK. In the UK, you have a Secretary of State, right? Which we call a minister. So like you have, say, the Department of Defense or Department of Education. You have a Secretary of State for Department of Education. This is the person responsible for the overarching government policy on education. Then what we call minister, they are so like the deputy minister under. Then call them ministers, right? And that deputy minister can get a deputy minister in charge of higher education. You can get a deputy minister in charge of basic education. You can get a deputy minister in charge of technical education. The person who is responsible for the overall policy that reports to cabinet, including the prime minister, is the Secretary of State. In the case of Sierra Leone, the person responsible for driving the government policy in the department is the minister responsible for the ministry. So let's say Ministry of Education. It's the Minister of Basic and Secondary School Education that is responsible. Part of the problems that we have, and I was sharing this with a colleague the other day, is there's too much of presidential appointments. And when you get too much of presidential appointment, a friend of mine was sharing with me a problem na NSA between the minister and the DG of National Sports Authority. In an ideal society, the DG of Sports Authority should not be appointed by the president, right? You get this role to be either advertised, right? The person go through interview. It's a meritocratic system, right? But when you create a society where everybody's appointed, me uncle the way politicians they know, me saying that the president now appoints me, a minister as you are, right? You lost sight of what's in the core responsibility of delivery. But this should not be a problem. Like again, I insist, even you motorcar can get problem. Your job is to detect that problem and take it to a mechanic.
You just mentioned one example, the NSC and the Minister of Sports, waiting been done the happen before this time. And we also get the Minister of Environment and EPA boss, who been gets an issue. Even the minister, they write letter for, okay, let them evict the ED from the place. These arguments come about, and this not just limit to these institutions. Some institutions, the minister and deputy minister know they see one side, and complaints and when they come up, even the sector heads them or the professional heads them need to go along with the ministry. We get an incident close to Winaya, now the Minister of Works, when the minister say according to allegation, he lock the entire offices them. You go with the professional heads then come for can work not get access to the building. This don't they happen plenty. You mentioned earlier that it can happen even between woman and man. But if this they happen na governance, what are the impacts?
It's a disastrous. And a disaster. It means a public service is not go be delivered. It means the ordinary citizens will rely on government services, not going to get access to those government services. A dysfunctional government is a dysfunctional state, and that's a recipe for chaos. But perhaps the biggest problem we get is not only having a dysfunctional government and the impact we will get on society. You talk about Ministry of Works. If the minister and deputy know they talk and they go give contracts about road, right? And the people in Afalaba rely on that role for move them goods for Kana Makini, for council, let them get them daily living. It becomes a problem. If the professional head is not in his seats, we for advise the minister, right? And then they get quarrel on all of this, right? It affects the ability of government to perform. But I think fundamentally, we miss simple and basic things about governance. From the ministers, from the professional heads, these are the simple things that we're missing. Right. So when you come to this arm of government, what we call the executive, right? You get two types of executive, right? You get the political executive and you get the bureaucracy, right? And the political executive, now the minister and the deputies, them, right? These are appointed by the president, right? And then job is actually policy. It's simple. They are not responsible, which is why in most ministries, and the last time I checked, ministers are not necessarily vote controllers. The vote controller is the permanent secretary, and the permanent secretary is part of the bureaucracy, right? And the bureaucracy, now that system and structure within government, where they in perpetuity forever and ever, whichever government we come, then get the experience and get the expertise, now then job there and they for run the ministry. So, if you're not a political executive, yes, you have the right to say, this is our government agenda, this is our policy priority. The bureaucracy is supposed to run with the policy directive there.
Okay.
Right? But the bureaucracy not for try for be political. And once people who are supposed, when a civil servant try for be political, and that's where the tensions can happen.
Let me focus on the issue of the political executive, yes, where you get the ministers and deputy ministers. My colleague presenter start for call ministers them. There are other ministers, ministries them across government where both the minister and the deputy not the see one-to-one. You're talking of the Ministry of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. You get the minister there and in deputy where it clear for sure say they're not the see, they're not the talk as how they're supposed to talk for run the ministry. You're talking of the Ministry of Fisheries, there are other ministries. Is it because of these two set of people there being appointed by the president because this issue they come up where they're not able to see or talk as one?
No, it's not because the both of them are appointed by the president. So by the Constitution of Sierra Leone, the president get the power to appoint ministers, right? And in fact, by the Constitution of Sierra Leone, the only ministry we states in the 1991 Constitution is, I think it's the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And the Constitution further say the president shall appoint other ministers as deemed fit, which is why every president in the days of Vanesco, it was Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, right? At some point, youth and sport was even together with youth and sport was together. Gender was together. President don't separate environment from lands, right? You don't separate Ministry of Education, right? You now get basic and tertiary education. So this is constitutional. So the president is acting within his constitutional right. This is just personality issues, right? But even at that, and this is my argument, this is the fact, even at that, if those problems persist, it is not because these two guys are not good enough. If those problems persist, there is what we call a problem of governance, and that problem of governance sits with cabinet, and for which His Excellency the President is the chair of cabinet. So let me tell you this. My uncle and I maybe go explain later. I don't be Boku Boku minister. The president appoints you as minister. You are the political head of the ministry. I am not sure if the deputy minister gets JDs, or what we call job description, to say, you as deputy minister, this is your specific role, right? In the UK, and I tell you the example that I know, you appoint a Secretary of State for Education. This is the guy responsible to cabinet for the government in policy on education.
Who determines the functions and responsibility of the deputy ministers for Sierra Leone context?
In the Sierra Leone context, I am not sure if it's the president who sets that. But what I know from experience is the fact that over time, and I'm aware of ministers who I don't decide, say, you know, I'm a deputy minister, I get 2 ministers of health deputy, right? I'm going to put one in charge of this, and I'm going to put the other in charge of that. Maybe my uncle will distinguish if with them they appoint in the days of President Koma as a deputy minister of information, if you have a particular portfolio. But there should be an understanding. I'm giving you the example in the UK, where clearly in the appointments they say you're Secretary of State for Education, then you can appoint what we call junior ministers, right? That junior minister can be in charge of universities. And finally, you can call a minister for universities. You know your portfolio is for universities. However, your reporting line ties back to the minister responsible for education, right? So whatever it is, whether you have a portfolio within, you have a remit within the ministry or not, your reporting line goes back to your minister, because it is the minister who eventually goes to cabinet and take overall responsibility for the policy directives of the ministry. But my final point on this is very important. Human nature, even when una can disagree on issues, right? What should guide you is there's a board. There's a management. We're responsible for the everyday activities. And so if you disagree with Musa, management should have a set of policy prescription on how to deal with that. Where sanctions should be made, they can make those sanctions. And if it's now to never present a program together, the management can decide, say, no, Musa not they present with you, right? So those decisions can be taken. You can deal with that. So it's not a problem if you disagree with Musa. The problem is, do you have the management infrastructure and processes to deal with that? If management's not able, then you move to the board, which is the highest decision-making body.
And you think at the executive level that lack?
So if you are bringing these issues consistently, I'm not saying that lacks, but I'm saying if you are bringing these issues consistently, governance presupposes there is a structure. If the minister and deputy, they always have a very rancorous situation, usai the work of government not they happen, there is a hub within government, which is cabinet, that should be able to deal with this situation. Once these issues are not dealt with, then there's a problem of governance, and that box of that problem sits with His Excellency the President.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue to come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. In case you just join me inside the edition of the program Good Morning Salon, we will look at disagreements between government ministers and deputies, and also agencies them we they under them. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and just listen to the head for the Political Science Department, Afrobe College, we see the head, the International Idea, Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawale. And inside the program, we don't be joined by the presidential spokesman, Alhaji Alpha Kano. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Musa. Good morning, everybody. Adeyemi Jackson.
You don't follow the discussion quite a bit for almost 5 minutes now, or 10 minutes we enter the studio. And we discuss about the disagreement between government ministers and deputies, and also some of the sectors or departments and agencies where they under some of the ministries also. You as a presidential spokesman, you are aware of this?
Thank you very much. My son, good morning. Good to see you and good to hear from you. I don't learn plenty from you this morning on the academic side. But I think you hit on something which is very important. Most of these things are personal issues. We know for impact on the work of government. When a minister is appointed, the president also appoints a deputy. The deputy does not get the terms of reference. The deputy derives the terms of reference from the ministry's portfolio. And the ministry's portfolio, now the minister in the overseer as the political head. He is supported on the implementation side by the permanent secretary and the directors, the bureaucracy we talk about. No deputy minister has a right to report directly to the president. It is the minister who does. In fact, now the minister now in the go cabinet. The deputy minister will only go to cabinet when the minister is not there, but with a set portfolio which the minister could not deal with, he left and gam. If there's a new issue, we come. We minister not be see it, that deputy minister can go sit on a parliament cabinet and he know will carry out the paper they go. Not to work. We started during President Ernest Bai Koroma, which we call performance tracking tables. We started by providing terms of reference for ministers and setting benchmarks for delivery. And then the minister then don't tell you now, say you go back now to your department. Go shape this work between you and the deputy minister. And then the deputy minister and the permanent secretary will now work to see how this one will go down and cascade down to the rest of the bureaucracy inside there. So really, for any minister, we go, where any deputy minister, we go feel say, because government president appoint them, they get the same level as the minister. I don't make big mistake. If you know your level. If now you then make minister, now you then go call, say, now you're not the minister. And give you the ministry for you able to support the work of the minister. And that's the buck stops there. Like I say, it's a personal issue. But for me, I'm really surprised where I see, and I bring this up, this government where they plan at the moment, I don't see much evidence of kind of disagreements between ministries where they impact directly on the delivery of services to the citizens. I don't see them. You go here, maybe you here and there, like it happens. What a man, teeth and tongue, and then go chamot. But if that chamot did not prevent the person for let Israel at the food, it don't really matter. They can resolve that.
We don't make examples of these happenings and are things them we as journalists them don't see for we safe. You go some press conferences, the deputy minister go sit down, perhaps minister go come and cancel that meeting. They say me no go there today. So this signing or this agreement or this meeting no go continue. And sometimes you see even the sitting accommodation or the meet up in a public self, you know, they even know say they work in the same sector. It happen at this government.
When are the people the way they organize the press conference? Are the people the way they organize the meeting? And then go down responsible for allocating seats for
no. The ministries organize their own press conferences. So we don't make an example of the Minister of Works. The last time the workman of this ministry, including the deputy, the professional heads, then come for work, the office lock, the keynote. And the minister say, or the workman they say that they lock the place because ABCD or other issues that will happen between them. These are examples.
They lock the place?
Yes. The office be locked so and the minister come, you know, meets, or the minister or the heads then come, they know, meet the key and then explain to the media what exactly they happen between them and the minister. And this is not the reason we make they say then they lock the place because there is no agreement or discord, or there is a discord between the heads them at the office. We lead all of this and then book then you work. These are some of the examples then. We can get the NSA and the Minister of Sports. We get the Minister of Sports now. We talk about some of the things then. We get the Environment Minister and the EPA boss and NPA rather. waiting be exactly happen. I think there will be done the report on. These things they happen within this government self.
Well,
You know
let me
we
tell
have
you,
that.
they happen with any government at any time.
But you don't accept now say they happen with
No,
this
no.
government.
If you don't succeed and don't happen, they happen. Let me tell you this. My young son here is very clear that mechanic day inside government. Where you go to with your fault. So if they workman the way they talk about in other places, they may get problems. The first person with them for approach is the Minister of Labour. Say, that's how they get to minister. And then him, if you're not able to handle him, they go call the chief of staff, say, but make lady buy this. Maybe they will call them people that are inside. But for grab, you workman, lock minister in office, lock all offices, nobody know the work. That one do you now complete indiscipline. Complete. Me, I sack you instant. Really. Because that's not your job. If you have problems, you're not a fit for yourself. That's like taking the law into your own hands. You for report them. There are structures in government. Maybe sometimes we know the same. When they say chief of staff, they say chief minister, they say minister of labor. Even minister of finance, they mention that if no money problem. These are people you can go to first responders. If that they fail, then sometimes the chief of staff will escalate them to the president's level. Now you are the coordinator. For look at all the faults along government institutions where it will make the president know. That is what they're doing. So if that doesn't work, then of course the Minister of Labour will say, let me carry this to Parliament, cabinet.
So let me look at the issue of...
There's an incident in the Ministry of Works, and maybe I feel it's important for Lord to throw light on that. And this deals with some allegation, I don't know if not true, when they say the Minister of Works sack, I don't know if not the permanent secretary or suspend the permanent secretary or suspend the director general.
Suspend the permanent secretary.
And the permanent secretary say, no, I need to go no side. And tension happen na the ministry close to una na.
Yes.
I think, again, I emphasize on two things. You get the political executive. Political executive, now the minister and deputy and all the other things. These are appointed by His Excellency the President, and he draws his authority for doing so from the Constitution, right? When it comes to the bureaucracy, the civil servants, or the civil service, they're also different. You get two. You get the civil service, you get the public service, right? And people can mix their wire together. The civil servants are then one their way, then they recruit via the Civil Service Commission, right? Then they go through the ranks, and they can move from one ministry to the other. Then you get the public servants, where they also they work for the states, but they are not recruited, right? So if you're not a teacher, like me, being a lecturer at university, I'm not a civil servant, I'm a public servant, right? Work for the public, but I'm not recruited via the civil service. There are structures to deal with us. So the minister cannot wake up in the morning and say, I fire the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Fabi College. She cannot do that, right? There is the university court. So if a crime is committed, the university court, yes, the minister has supervisory authority over the university court. And if you think, say, this man don't flout your appointment rules, it is the university court when are the employing body. It's like the board of the university, and for take action. And he come back to the issue, just for clarify this before we end, they clarify the issue of the permanent secretary. The best the minister could have done is to reach to either the secretary to cabinet or secretary to the president, who is the head of the civil service, and say, as a minister, this permanent secretary will not give me so it affects me. I cannot deliver with him. Then we'll sit down and say, okay, is this really true? Are there just personal issues? Maybe the secretary to president can decide for change the permanent secretary. Okay. But you cannot on your own. But let's end this and see what happen. Directives, we understand a letter came again from State House to the minister and say, stay of action. Those things also know they represent well in the eyes of the public how the state should function, right? And it's that coordination, you can say the mechanics steady, how them process it.
You think say this they happen because some people close to the president than some appointees?
I wouldn't say yes or no. You see, we possibly run for power. You know, most people they support them. We've heard of a particular financial secretary in this country, we say they go in village people and they fall around, right? But government business is government business. I am not supposed, if me supposed to get a government transfer, I'm not supposed to go see the permanent, how do you call themselves, the
head of civil service?
The head of
HRMO.
No, the man they deal with the budget and Ministry of Finance.
Okay, financial sector.
Financial sector. So I'm not supposed to go sit down in office for 2 hours for last year and for let transfer money, because government budget is the instrument through resources are distributed, and therefore it's supposed to follow that process.
Okay, Doc, a quick clarification.
Before
Alhaji, would they come?
No, on this
Alhaji,
issue.
they come. Quick clarification. The issue of now the Ministry of Works, not to be the permanent secretary, the minister be get issue with, but now be the professional head, the minister they get issued for make that clarification day.
All right, that's beautiful. Whatever it is, I'd like to say, there are systems and structures through which you deal with those problems.
Okay. Continue for the
rather than
the program. Alhaji,
will they come after the break?
The program like Good Morning Salon, they come to you from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We go come to with studio guest them and continue with the discussion, but now we go for this commercial break.
You bland taste ice cream and you not feel like an ice cream? No worry again, because Blue Moon ice cream don't come for you.
Blue Moon ice cream na salon that they make up, and you get different flavor them like chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, almond, bubble gum, plain yogurt, chocobar, ice pop, and different other flavor them.
You're available in all supermarkets, and we shop there in Sandal Street, Wellington Street, Wilkinson Road, and Waterloo. Self, we work under the worker with the push cart they sell. Now salon the factory day when they make this ice cream here. So get better taste with Blue Moon ice cream. It's refreshing and they give you more satisfaction.
For more information, you can call we on 077 633 633. Blue Moon ice cream, the taste of happiness.
Bloombank Digital Banking don't come for we.
I said so. You look stressed so.
Nah, bank are the one go so.
Me sister, go digital.
Digital?
Yes, with Bloombank Digital Banking. Just tap, click, swipe and send money, receive money, check your balance, pay your bills and get quick loans before Jacko cuts your eye.
But Abu left fly.
Well, bring your phone.
Nah, so easy and quick.
Yes, with Bloombank Digital, you can bank with freedom anytime in the world. Your money is safe and secure. Also, you can do business and transfer money instantly by your currency across Africa. Quick one with Colats.
Wow! As from today, call me Aisatu Bloombank Digital. I dey go tell all me party them for join Bloombank Digital Banking.
Go ahead and download our digital banking app from Google Play Store and Apple Store, or visit any of our branches for further details. For no more, you can visit our website, bloombankafrica.com. Bloombank Africa. Let's make it happen.
Cecil, do you know any sharp user I go able get quality laptop or desktop computer for buy? When I go give me wahala like the last one?
Aisha, you see this Dell computer na me hand? It don't pass 8 years from where I begin use it. It no one day give me problem. Na Palestino International in shop, na 5 and 6 Gloucester Street, na they a buyer. Not to copyright Palestino they sell, na original. You see this me plasma TV, this Samsung home theater, me standing fan and mobile phone. Every day when you see them, it's like a new one. They don't pass 8 years na me hand. Palestino don't open Palestino International Computer Shop na 3 Bojon Street Bow. Also you they get all kind computer for buy. For more, just call 076 56 5432 077 80 5898. Palestino International in Computer Shop. All team day for you.
Tell me what in the stop nonsense.
You don't look for side for keep you money and for make you business grow?
Well, now the term this so for keeping money with any community bank or financial services association, which then they call FSA, with the all side na salon, because then a good party with good condition, way easy for the ordinary man.
They go guide you fine one, but how for manage you money for change your life and the people them and your community. Remember say when you keep your money in a bank where they near you not just they keep money for bye but you they help your community for go before.
So waiting you the wait, you be businessman or farmer, petit together, so he art person, teacher or anybody keep your money in any community bank or FSA where they near you and see how your life go better.
Tell me what did they stop nonsense? Now money they stop nonsense.
The program na Good Morning Saloon, it come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. And if you just join we inside the edition of the program, we look at disagreements between ministers and some ministers and deputy ministers, and waiting at the challenge this gets on service delivery. We get the presidential spokesman na the program, we na Alhaji Alfakano, and also we get the head of department for political science department from a college, and also the head for international idea, Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawale. The program Good Morning Saloon, they continue. They come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Before we come to the studio guests, them we continue for look at more issues. Then inside the program Good Morning Saloon, we go inside the Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Kenya Bale, say the ECOWAS Media Summit, where Salon they host, go open opportunity for investment at the area them like peace building, economic integration, and other things them we na ECOWAS member country them. For more on this, we join Jaffa Mans Davis.
Since 1975, where countries in Africa come together for form ECOWAS, Salon now one pan the country them. We not host ECOWAS summit for the first time. And since 1980, where the country we don't host event like this for the AU under Shaka Stevens in term. This opportunity means say plenty responsibility they now to the country for ensure say this summit successful. This make the Ministry of Information and Civic Education engage different government representatives them for talk about how preparation talek, and the first person where this question be meet now the press secretary the State House Yusuf Keke Thomas Sandi, and at this now being response.
And we believe say this not just President Bio, this now about Sierra Leone, this now about we all from where we should say Salon get the capability and the capacity, we get the people there, we get the technicality, we get the know-how, and we get the leadership for organize summit like this. But it also means because we believe in accountable leadership, as we go along, we get for take citizens them along with we, for make we also inform citizens them waiting they happen.
With this statement, it reached time for listening how the different events can get for happen and serve give small updates but the impact what President Bio in leadership don't bring to the economic community of West African states. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Timothy Kaba, explain more.
Under the leadership of the President, both in the African Union and in ECOWAS, they accelerate the smooth transition of Guinea to democratic rule. And also, ECOWAS don't get an impetus, a new life way unlike the ECOWAS of the past 5-10 years. The outcome of the 68th ordinary session, they end up feeding into the meetings that will in Freetown and go to the summit. We will deliberate from the PRC, the ambassadors level, from the ambassadors level, the Department of Mediation, Security Council. We'll go for all the work with the ambassadors don't do, the AFC, and the Mediation and Security Council. And then the outcome of that meeting, they end up feeding the heads of states meeting on the 19th.
But even with this, plenty other preparation don't they carry on, and the next thing we go connect people in mind. Now but waiting, Salon and ECOWAS go benefit for sake of this conference. The Minister of Planning and Economic Development, Kenya Bale, explain more.
For the international partners and the national, waiting go interest them. Restoration of constitutional order and the deepening of democracy, the peace building aspect. The second area was revitalizing security. Center of that, na the depot. Then the third area where the president emphasized na economic integration, and then also building the institution, ECOWAS as an institution. This last point, now the summit for the future, the compact for the future.
The Ministry of Information and Civic Education, after different discussion on the preparation of Salone for host the ECOWAS Mid-Year Summit, call to the public for make sure say them play their own role for display culture and welcome the different guests them where they come so that different sectors like tourism and other one them will benefit. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Jaffa Mans Davis, they report.
The program Good Morning Salon Day continue. From that report today, we come to the presidential spokesman. Today we look at the disagreements between some ministers and deputies and also some of the agencies lead them within some of the ministries here. So before we go for that break, we don't get Dr. Tarawale Bidom make some points to them. If you want to respond to that presidential spokesman.
Yeah, no, not to respond, clarification really,
okay.
Because what he's saying is all correct. The stay of action that came from State House, then for reality tell the minister, say, this is not your mandate. Because the public, professional head is answerable to the head of the civil service, or if I go beyond that, I say head of the public service. So that letter came for tell and say, in a nice way, take action and we look at it. So for me, that issue, they handle them properly. You not been they expect say another more dramatic announcement will be made, but when a leader is sitting in his chair, like Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawale says, now you're wearing shoes, you don't know side of them. So he has to be very careful with utterances and actions, and he could take a look at the best, the optimal way for to solve situations. What we have in cabinet is that there are ministries and there are deputy ministries. The Ministry of Education, wherein you have the Minister of Education and his two deputies, now one unit. It's like the president and the vice president. The vice president's only task, according to the Constitution, is that he's the principal assistant to the president. Assistant. When the president give work for do, he go do him. But you know they go grab work for himself or can't turn up na the public president or they give me work. No. That is why you see this vice president with this president. Since then come, you know, everyone hala. Because first of all, I think the vice president of today, he is a doctorate in political science. He understands all the entire way my son they talk about, the new limitations. In America, they get a joke. So the vice president gets up in the morning, listens to the news, where she said the president still they run around, they go, he lay down back. Because there's nothing to do. You are only there to back up. In the case of a vacancy, you fill it in quickly so we don't have a vacuum. But the president get it right. And discretion for give you work. And we don't see how this president don't give a lot of duties to this vice president today. And the vice president will don't represent the president the most. 44, 45 times he's acted as president. And the vice president will get many agencies under him.
Na you compile that number day?
Sorry?
Na you compile them? Say you don't act 45 times?
I am a researcher. So I take data. My first job, I've been data analyst. So make a carry on. If you want for check, you can cross-check that. It's over 45. I'm not saying 45, I say over
45.
Over, so you can check that yourself, all right? So I acted. Make I tell you also, say, the vice president today, he get many agencies, strategic agencies, under his direct supervision with President Lefangam. by his own discretion. You don't go grab and say, the president ain't forgive me this. No. A vice president is there in about the same way as the deputy minister is.
Okay, you mentioned about job description with Doc talk earlier on that the minister they determine the job description for the deputy minister. We'll look at some instances. We don't see some ministries where even though the deputy minister could get this responsibility for perform, but you hardly see the deputy ministers in their public functions. And when you get one-on-one conversation with them, they would say, the minister not they give me a chance.
Well, and they give the minister bad name. You will only perform function where the minister not there. You go perform function where the minister out of your own targets within GAM, na cabinet.
Even if the minister don't assign that job.
No, if you don't assign and give it your job. But if at some point he decides, say, look, and I'm really responsible at the end of the day for go give account as the last person on this issue to government, to cabinet. If she says something is going wrong, he can take her back and handle it. So you're not going to say, they don't give you for hold up. If they give it to you, if you perform and nothing, say any minister go there. Where they see in deputy, they perform the right thing we want for do, you go tell and say left. Because all I want for make it get small freedom and make it get a good name. So at the end of the day, now the minister get for good answer for the PTT. They call them performance tracking tables. Every 3 months, they call we. And based on that, ministers have been sacked for lack of performance. And I think that happens also with this government. So the people are very much geared towards meeting those targets. That is why you see this government, even during difficulties, it is still the register growth. You will be very surprised that even during COVID, when things were really, really tough, the world over, this government registered a growth of 2.3%. Now I'm telling you, because the government is making sure that anybody will sit on top of an organization, an agency, will get for deliver to the people if that effect comes up. That is it.
We'll come back to you. We'll look at some of the job description for ministers under this government, and why is it the example we set, if the president and vice president, they get along, why not some ministers and deputy ministers? Why didn't they get along?
Thomas just said that. Two people are different.
Will they come back?
The personality issue.
The program Good Morning.
Now, egotistical behavior. That's it. If you know your limit, you go left, you go at home. Don't take it to the office.
Will they come back to you, Alpha Khan, presidential spokesman? Will they go for this break? We'll continue the program Good Morning Salon.
Nothing no they pressure me.
Hey! They don't do more. They don't do PC Foreign Exchange Bureau, the number one foreign exchange bureau in the country, they give all the customers them 1% cashback for every transaction where they make through Western Union, MoneyGram, or RIA.
Na Indoso.
Not so Indoso, nice K. PC Foreign Exchange Bureau don't 1% the game. So you will get from Bull, Paddy, or business partner where they send for you money through Western Union, MoneyGram, or RIA. Run go now any PC and Son shop where they all about the country. For you where they free tongue, PC and Son shop they now 16 Godrich Road Lumley, 59 Wellington Street, 31 Guard Street, 19 Frobe Road, 10 and 53 Sanya Bacha Street, 32A Wilkinson Road, 9 Couture Road, and 24 City Road Port C. For Waterloo Famulem, within a 9A Liverpool Street, Waterloo. For Famulem where they upline, within a 76 Sky Corridor Road Corner, within a 5 Palmer Street Kabbalah, 54 Dambala Road Bo, within a number 4 Denby Street Kenema, 39 Robane Road Makeni, 137 Airport Ferry Road Lunge, Lagos Compound Kailaun, and 35 IDA Road, Cambia. Tell your neighbor say, PC Foreign Exchange Bureau, the 1% the game.
Cheese. Famous.
Hotel Commercial Bank don't acquire UTB. Yes, the bank where we all know as UTB go now gets the name Hotel Commercial Bank. Then they on transition, we mean say you don't need for worry about anything. Hotel Commercial Bank want to make all customers we been there with UTB know say all deposits on their money safe. And the same people then where we they work na UTB, now the same people then you go meet na the bank where you go for the transaction. And the bank na still Salon Bank because not a foreign bank acquirer. And the Bank of Salon, DBN, for make sure say the transition will find one for all man. Yes, all deposits of the money safe, and the bank still strong. Same face, same people, same Salon Bank. RC Bank, the bank of choice.
48 teams, one champion, one glory. The 2026 World Cup is here. Call 777 now or dial star 777 hash for play and win with AfriCell. Yes, if you're not a football fan, this time you turn for win plenty amazing prizes. You can win AfriMoney, Samsung A06 smartphones, World Cup team jerseys, and plenty more inside the World Cup season with AfriCell. Call 777 or dial star 777 hash and win with AfriCell inside the promo. Or buy and activate a brand new AfriCell SIM card and you will get one chance for take part inside the AfriCell 2026 World Cup draw. This go cost you just trillions and AfriCell go send them back for you for use as on-net talk time before 12 midnight. Use your AfriMoney for double your chances for win inside the AfriCell World Cup promotion. The live draw will come up after the first match every day on AYB TV, Afri TV on channel 23, AfriCell Salon Facebook page, and also live on Afri Radio. Link up with other major radio stations across the country. Call 777 or dial star 777 hash for win inside the World Cup promo with AfriCell. For more information, call 111. Terms and conditions apply.
The program now, Good Morning Salon, they come to you from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Now, not time for look at the first set of messages then we don't come inside the program. And this one from Jibril Kano, say Alpha Khan, the Vice President, has acted over 45 times this year because his boss has traveled over 45 times. When the president is in the country, it's either chief minister or the first lady deputize the president.
This one from Augustine Kai, our Facebook page. They say, "Good morning, Radio Democracy. I personally agree with Mr. Tarawali. Some ministers are not in good terms with their deputies. The president should begin inviting deputy ministers either individually or at some cabinet meetings in order for them to express their views on certain matters that has to do with their bosses and areas of operation."
This one from Momo said, Dr. Tarawali, there are a lot of consequences from some of these appointees, which is disturbing the people. Some of these consequences can lead to the appointment of individuals who are not well suited for the role, potentially undermining the effectiveness of government operations and public trust in institutions. Two, can create a politicized environment where decisions are driven by partisan interests rather than public good, leading to inefficiency, corruption, or lack of accountability. Can lead to a concentration of power in the executive branch, reducing checks and balances and increasing the risks of authoritarianism or abuse of power. May lead to the decreased civic engagement, political apathy, and a general erosion of public trust in government.
Michael Monrovia on our Facebook page say the issues of disagreement between minister and deputy is an old age issues. I think government should try hard and put this to rest once and for all, because this really hinder progress in any ministry of such. If I could remember, there was a serious disagreement between Mr. Moja Kaikai and his deputy minister Attila, which almost led to fight. When government officials are in disagreement, we the citizens suffer for seeing development that's supposed to benefit us.
This one from Supercarb says civil servants serves as the operational backbone in good governance. Their primary role is to impartially translate political vision into actionable policies, ensure efficiency delivery of public services, uphold the rule of law, and maintain administrative continuity despite changes in political leadership. Dr. Tarawali, all your submissions are perfectly correct as a qualified professional administrator following the program attentively.
Ibrahim Cissé na we Facebook page, they say the real leadership gap is often caused by 3 factors: cabinet divisions, competing power interests, and weak coordination. If government leaders are working towards different goals, misunderstanding is inevitable. A question for the presidential spokesman: is the government speaking with one voice, or are different agendas driving governance?
This one from Bremer say we need more for we country before we spread them.
Okay, from the messenger, we come to the studio guest them for respond. We come to Dr. Idris.
There's an important process about governance, and it's very important that we pay attention on all of that. It's a privilege, maybe the biggest honor in your life, for in a population of over 7-8 million people, for you to be appointed as minister, whether minister or deputy minister. At any time you get an opportunity, if you hold that position, they with grit and the highest sense of responsibility. Anytime a minister and his deputy no work together, it will affect public service delivery. And they have also failed fundamentally in the trust where the president put on them. So remember that at any time you are appointed as minister. It's a great honor to serve your country, but have you done so in the interest of your people? If you have not done that, it will undermine public service delivery. When we did offer, I share with you thoughts about the nature of the politics. They affect all them process there. I give example. Say, imagine me and Kuli run for be president. Me and Musa we all support him. Sometimes they don't put me 1,000 yourself for the campaign. I didn't one side to do my own things. But by his own wisdom as president, he appoint Musa and he make me deputy. In my own small corner, I don't begin things say, I'm educated, I got a PhD. Why not Musa for the day as minister? Why me not be there as minister? I forget the fact, say, the president in his wisdom has decided to say, you better serve here rather than there. So for all them personal things there, so can undermine progress in governance, right? Beyond that, presidents also get a responsibility for being very careful when they appoint people. Because you have people them way get political interest, right? And so they can use the ministry for further their future ambition and aspirations. Whether a deputy minister or minister, the risk is rather than he focus on his job, he might use that ministry there for further in political ambition, which is against the main purpose for which the president will appoint you. But my overall or my overarching position in all of this is very simple. I started this conversation by saying, if you are away from a host can disagree. So you cannot stop, the president cannot stop people, ministers and deputies from disagreeing. Maybe Sierra Leone can learn from other countries to say, what can we do more to ensure cohesion and cohesiveness within cabinet, right? You can explore all other options. Might try the UK option, right? And set up all the ministries there, so provide job description for deputy ministers and all the other things. But it remained the fact that the political head of the ministry, responsible to cabinets for policy level delivery, is the minister. And lastly, right, and this is very important, lastly, if there is a problem within a ministry, the structure of governance is such that cabinet is aware and cabinet is able to resolve the kind of
We'll go ask Alpha Khan if the cabinet can aware or the president can aware of some of them disagreements. But before we go for music break, Dr. Tarawali, we talk about, Ibrahim in the text message talk about division in cabinets or weak coordinations and other one them. We don't see different camp them, don't they come up? And some don't relate some of these ministers to particular individual within government. Some can say, these are the first lady you post in this. Perhaps they make a get appointments, or this are the chief minister you post in this, or this are this minister you post in this. And these people get camps them within the lead. You think, say, belonging to this camp as minister and this belonging to this as deputy minister get any impact to this disagreement?
Well, first of all, I'm not a politician. I've never been a minister. I'm not a member of the SLPP, so I not to know Yes, I don't hear about Ibema, I don't hear about RIM, and I know these are people aspiring for the leadership of the SLPP using different political machineries for let them able to get to the power they want. Are they going against the Constitution? No. But let me tell you what happens in a transition. Yeah? My uncle go attest to this. At any time a government, a president they serve in second term, and it gets closer to the end of in second term, where the sitting president will not be a candidate in the next elections, the chances that the political party in power become more divisive are very likely. So what is happening in the SLPP is something that they have to handle carefully. Otherwise, then divisions and they can affect them very seriously. However, and this is the big however, government is a big machinery for the governance of the state and for public service delivery. There are structures. If a professional head creates a problem, structure deal within government for deal with that. If the deputy minister has a problem with his boss, there is a structure. Even you can go through the chief of staff, you can go through the secretary to the president and book an appointment with His Excellency the President and say, I feel this problem is happening. To disagree publicly and affects public service delivery is a disservice to the people of Sierra Leone and the mandate to the president gives.
Continue for stay with you inside the program, Dr. Idris Tarawali. The program Good Morning Salon Day continue. We'll go for music break. We'll continue.
The boss I said ticket to go to the moon. Who gave her to go to the moon? The boss, he says so. Who gave her to build a station? The boss, he says so. Who gave her to bomb cassava? The boss, he says so. Who gave the order to bomb Iraq? Jesus Christ, the boss, he says so. Children, tell me who is the boss? Who is the boss? Is the boss make life? Or is he the Antichrist? Who gave the order to bomb Vietnam? The boss, he says so. Who gave the rights to apartheid in South Africa? The boss, he says so. Tell me who is the boss of what is? Who is this great boss? All he have for you is a pound of steel rice and some funny looking dollars. What a sentence. One cocoa full basket, but him tell you that him have mountains of it.
Welcome back from the music break there done by Joseph Hills, titled The Boss. The program now, Good Morning Salon, they come to you from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We come over to the presidential spokesman, Alhaji Alpha Khan, for respond to the messages that we come for you.
Thank you very much. I think there are two particular ones that are really directly intended for make me answer them. One, the one way somebody talks, say, me say, President Bill don't travel 45 times this year, which means they travel beaucoup. I make VP the act. I didn't say this year. I say Vice President will act 45 times. Over the 9-year period, that means the President travels an average of 5 times a year. And when you consider that there are only 4 quarters in a year, that is not even
Not 5 times president they travel a year?
No. It's arithmetic. I said that 45 times vice president will act.
Okay.
So this person can say 45 times this year.
Oh.
No, it's 45 times over 9 years. That's an average of 5 per year. That's what I tell you. So that is quite acceptable for the kind of benefits where this party bring forward.
But you self go agree say president not to 5 times per year go travel.
It's average. Sometimes another year I go travel 2 times. Another one you go travel 7 times. When you put all over the 9 years, you add them, you divide by 9, 5 times a year. The average that you talk about. So I am saying that the travel where the president they travel not for nothing. He always they bring something good for we. All right. So next time I'll tell you all of those benefits that have come. The other one way is it Bangura Ibrahim? Somebody asked about coordination in government. President very particular about that, to the extent that he held a cabinet retreat in Bo about 2 or 3 years ago. For good talk to ministers and us where they with him. The need for coordination. And he gave us what you would call 4 C's. You consult, collaborate, cooperate, and coordinate. Consult, collaborate, cooperate, and coordinate. That way you can hardly make mistakes. So that the left hand go know what in the right hand they do. But like my son just said there, we people feel say the position with Ngam. Naimi forget that finance instead of the Ngam internal affairs because of putting don't put in and all that kind of rivalry does come sometimes. So some people don't coordinate. So when President noticed that this one hamper in progress, in agenda, in timetable, he called for a retreat in Bo, and I was there, and it was very, very strong when it came there. So yes, it's there need for coordination. If government ministers not coordinate, the government will suffer, the people will suffer. So this government is doing its best. These are all human issues. Yes, social problems, psychological problems. They affect us as people. You can't quantify them. You can't predict them. You don't even know, like I don't even know what he's thinking about what I'm saying. If I could see in his mind, then I'll go before him, I'll go cut before him, and I'll answer the question before he can ask me. But I cannot see that. You see, that is why humans are very difficult species to deal with.
Some of them disagreements are President aware of them.
Which ones?
The disagreement within or with some ministers and deputy
when
ministers.
These things happen, now you know they make them in the don't you journalists, you people in the media, they scatter them all over. So we all they read, we almost don't be aware. But for say sometimes then they send and go to them and all that. Of course, if it goes to him, he'll deal with it. Like the example you gave here, the one for Ministry of Works. When you reach him, it make the Secretary to President right to say, stay action. Don't do this. It's not your job. You understand? Okay. But if it is not referred to him, just make with the area and read them and all that, it is a rumor machine.
Okay, continue for the between the program. Alhaji Alpha Khan, presidential spokesman. With the conversation for continue, but inside the program now, they take one part we headline story. Then inside the program manager for the Dorothy Springer Trust Foundation, Sonny Sware Kuroma, say the 2025 audit report shows say the Ministry of Finance not be give money to the Special Education Needs and Disability Unit and the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education for special needs school them where this is affect the radical inclusion policy. Well, put these reports together and with regard the issue we get for do with the Dorothy Springer Trust Foundation. The radical inclusion policy will come early inside President Bio in first term na office. Now before make sure say it pull all the barrier them where they for make school picking them not able for land book. This radical inclusion for make sure say picking them get access and the thing them where they give them barrier. It pull them come out, make all the people them elect how you day or who that you be as long as you able for go school. Government for make the capacity, create the atmosphere so that you self go join the process. But this over the year don't be challenged to one set of people that are the one them where people they call persons with disability. The Persons with Disability Act of 2011, Section 4, talk about the right of education, and Section 5 make am clear say them people them here. Society not for discriminate against them, but according to the Dorothy Springer Trust Foundation, they challenge now where them people here they go through, especially when you look at the special unit self within the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, where for help support physically challenged people, and one couple they're not able to foresee. Inside the 2025 audit report, this na big call where government for pay attention to now.
We are deeply saddened about 1. The inadequate prioritization of children and young persons with disability within the radical inclusion framework, contrary to the obligations under Section 4 of the Sierra Leone Disability Act of 2011 and Article 24 of the UNCRPD. Disparities in resource allocation and programs implementation across districts, referring to the 2025 audit report, undermining target 4.5 of the SGDs. The lack of dedicated and sufficient funding for the special needs and disabilities SEND unit under the Ministry of Basic, Senior and Secondary Education based on the 2025 audit report, contrary to Section 10 of the Sierra Leone Disability Act, which emphasizes government's responsibility to fund and support inclusive education. Weak district-led coordination, monitoring mechanisms, and accountability structures for inclusive education.
You be the listening to the program manager for the Dorothy Springer Trust Foundation, Sonisware Kuroma. They talk about the concern them where they get for sake of the radical inclusion policy. Sonisware Kuroma also talk about the thing them where they want government for do for address them challenge them here.
We call upon all stakeholders to act decisively. MBSSE to allocate a dedicated sustainable annual budget line for the SEND unit as mandated by Section 10 of the Sierra Leone Disability Act of 2011. The Ministry of Finance to ensure disability inclusive budgeting across all education programs in line with the Article 4 of the UNCRPD and Target 4.5 of the SG3. Development partners to increase targeted investment in disability inclusive education, intervention and capacity building, consistent with Sierra Leone's national strategy on disability and development, education sector plan. District authorities to ensure equitable distribution of resources, support services, and accessible learning environment across all regions in compliance with Section 14 of the Sierra Leone Disability Act and National Decentralization Policy. Parliamentary oversight bodies to rigorously monitor the implementation and financing of inclusive education commitments in line with constitutional mandates and international treaties.
The head of the Dorothy Springer Trust Foundation, Dr. Abdullahi Dumbuya, thinks say them concern the year now one we government for pay attention to.
You read the radical inclusion that despite the strong legal frameworks and the policy commitments and the international obligations, critical gaps still exist, and these gaps hinder effective implementation. Therefore, this advocacy and lobbying activity as part of the Lilian Foundation, in collaboration with One Family People, we're here to provide an evidence-based analysis of the current challenges that underscores the legal and policy imperatives and therefore offer detailed strategic recommendations tailored for policymakers.
If Salone for meet the sustainable development goal, it means say Salone for don't put education at the map and make sure say plenty Salone people they go school till that term. But if this did get plenty picking them at school, waiting it means Salute today now the public relations officer for the special needs school as Salone he explained.
Pensions have never been enough in the past and even the present now. Kindly asking them, these institutions are government-run institutions and our main source of funding is from government. Therefore, we really need subventions that will meet the needs and address the needs of these institutions.
Salutary and for call on government for look inside their concern them here so people with disability issue go start for benefit from the radical inclusion policy when they talk about the inclusion of people by education business. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Adeyemi Jackson, the report. Now, good morning, Saloni. Come to you from Radio Democracy 98.1. Inside the program we take walkabout.
Another morning again, I say Wednesday, mine. I say Wednesday. I say fumble. àṣẹ VPJ àṣẹ ìlọsọ àṣẹ gbàdúrà lọspami àṣẹ if person tell you say you get confidence like that boy there say I must know how you pack confidence. I say, today, I say, man, then still believe say, oh, Julia, nine then go pass the baton to. I say, man, then get for dream gently, and they wake popolipo. Because me been there at that conference today, and she don't represent the Wakabot family, and they will go say, and this boy come, and I then go tell bye-bye. I been there, I say, tin de be, I said, you are the she. It look like 2028 election. I say it look like you go for a political party then to 20. Because I say we then go for balance man. You be no saying I make Steve for see and that one we then to call and what in himself. I say now make them born the one that we born then go back. I say, Pambul, I was one make you know say this small country, that's why I say, oh, they manage, I say, oh, they drag, now 18 political party there, I say, now they register mine. Not the same question, Mr. Fact, I'm for waiting. For waiting. I say, me are the one that the mommy on top of. I tell people then go they come out clear because where I see the mommy on top and I see then I say then they represent PPSL and they go in Canada and this thing. Now they say, now PPSL they invite. Oh, now this is Big Magby. Come out clear. No, lentia mete. I say, oh, chifo. I say, now you make now instead of looping, chingche. He looks now he gives himself to longbow. I dear lost. I say, if you not be know, I will let you know, say, now, as I dey talk to you, so, I say, now this time, so right now, the highest inflation rate since the start of this year, over 12% now, I say, now the crop show, I say, now they go back show, walking, tell man them fishing a play. I say Uncle Pierre, Uncle Petroleum, Uncle Nibo. I myself at the joint bow for where the black is. I myself at the mixed black and white bow. Too much of one thing is good for nothing. Me na drona buakabot.
We come back now the studio and we come back and if you just join we discuss the issue we can happen between some ministers and deputy ministers and waiting at the impact of this on the governance. We don't get Dr. Idris Tarawali. We don't talk about some of the things that we think they can call some of these things and the impact we get on national development and service delivery. And also we don't talk to the presidential spokesman. We don't highlight some of the things we think government don't they do for manage them and how then don't they do them as governments. Well, we now time for listening to waiting the chief minister make up of this situation and if he aware of them at all. The chief minister, Dr. David Senge, talked to Sapti Kalon inside this interview.
We get one national development plan with one government. The national development plan in goal, one goal. Now that by 2039 we will be an inclusive middle income, green, and you get 5 big game changers. And then game changers, and they get different targets them. And with the monitor one year by year. Different people, and they get different way where they want to achieve them targets them. Inside the line of delivery of work, teeth and tongue the jam. And with teeth and tongue jam, as part of the work as adults in every home, every community, every church, every mosque, every neighborhood, we resolve them. So I'm sure in the line of doing work over the last couple of years, people then they disagree and teeth and tongue the jam.
So in other words, you are aware say yes, some minister and deputy of senior staff them not see one side.
Not just ministers. Me a minister will make palaver, for example, me as chief minister, because I think say something will happen quickly by a certain time. And then I'm not going to know the full context. So that's not strange. The minister and deputy or colleague then go disagree. Director then go disagree. Even junior staff then go disagree. But the point is that people at workplaces disagree. And that is true whether you're a minister or whether you're a cleaner or not.
So as the immediate supervisor of the government institution, how much ministries or other government institution we say chamot or jamot on the day?
There has to be chamot or jamot in every institution where more than 1 or 2 people there. Okay. Even a marital home, man and woman, they make palaver at some point. That means the chamot they always. So I am aware of a couple that have come up, and some have been resolved, others are being resolved, other one they will go look at them.
So that was one day, so.
I can't name them off the top of my head, but I'll tell you, say that waiting what they do, now they call the people then, we all sit around and listen, and you can realize it, but could that misinformation or asymmetry of information. I know one thing where you don't know, or you get opinion for something, when the other person talk and when a third party, or you interpret and we not as well being made for interpreter. So the way would they do I mediate, would they engage, and if I'm not able, I go ASAM up to me boss them, then go mediate. Other time then they resolve amongst themselves. But at the end of the day, as President Bio been talking during the retreat a couple years ago, we're not need for Lekuna said before we work together. We all know to best party there. We know to we all been they go out and play ball at the same team before we begin town minister there. So we already expect say all man will be best party, but we expect say respect there, we expect say good relationship there, and we all focus on one great thing, the National Development Plan.
So in terms of your intervention mediation, like how many attempts or those one they able resolve?
Plenty, repeatedly. But if I resolve between you and other persons, they don't mean to not make palaver next tomorrow. So I don't resolve plenty.
The chief minister they talked to Sapti Kalo instead of interview the Wusa Isi in don they work for mediate and resolve some of the issues then between ministers and deputy ministers then. We can't we studio guest them, but we look at another set of messages them we then go come response to inside the program. This first one where they take now from Edwin J.S. Yambasu. He said Dr. Kano, he said Dr. Idris, rather, he said you are giving useful and resourceful information on how the presidency operates. The role of the vice president is clearly stated in our constitution. Radio D, thank you.
This one from Supercap said the president in his wisdom established performance appraisal assessment for department, ministry and agency. So, presidential spokesman, can you explain how this assessment works amongst government officials in terms of producing expected results?
This one from Supercaps Fude Kabakaba on our Facebook page. They say civil servants serves as the operational backbone in the good governance. Their primary role is to temporarily translate political visions into actionable policies and ensure efficient delivery of public services, uphold the rule of law, and maintain administrative continuity despite changes in political leadership. Dr. Tarawali, all your submissions are perfectly correct, as I am a qualified professional administrator following the program attentively.
This one from Tunde Scott said the public and private disagreement among SLPP government officials is becoming increasingly alarming, more so after the emergence of the Igbima and radical inclusion movement groups. That's a major fracture within the government and is having a direct setback on government and the people.
This one from Musa Khalidu by Juku Swari. They say The SLPP-led government is fragmented. The job descriptions of the ministers overlap.
This one say, Dr. Kanu, are you giving a useful and resourceful information on how the presidency operates? The role of the vice president is clearly stated in our constitution.
From them messenger, so we the count we studio guest them for make them go respond. We will start with Dr. Idris Tarawale.
Thank you very much, Musa and the team. I feel the overarching conversation about citizens there, there's what we call in politics a social contract. The social contracts now between citizens and government. Yeah? I subdue some of my freedoms, right? I commit to certain things. I pay taxes, obey the law, right? Do certain things. In exchange, the government will protect me and the government will provide services, right? And that function, in most times, in the reasonable times, supposed to be seamless. But you and I know, in most situations, that function is not seamless. We're only talking about central government now. You not going to the local councils, then don't see. There is no mayor or chairman of council that I know, we in deputy, no get kuskas. And these are people of the same political party. You would assume the same way can a central government. Largely, to a very large extent, almost everybody we're a minister right now. I'm not saying 100%, but almost everybody we're a minister right now is either SLPP or sympathetic to President Bio in agenda. You would assume in a normal day that all of these people should work together. But by human nature, people differ. Some man they can have politics for a different role. Some man they can have public office for further interest. Some man they hold position for it's about him or her and pushing their own agenda. And when that happens, it gets severe consequences on public service delivery. If that check was supposed to sign the Ministry of Finance for pay for them drugs them, na one hospital na Kurbolai, right? The permanent secretary and the minister gets an issue. That check they not sign quick. And Mami Fatu and Mami Ajana and the sofa do not get access to services. So government supposed to work together in a very cohesive manner. But we acknowledge, say, then challenges here, so they exist. Musa, you get a question?
No, we'll come back to you. We want to come to Alpha Khan for answer to text messages. Then we'll come back to you. We'll look at the way forward in solving this issue, because not so the first thing this don't happen. When my colleagues start for build the program, we don't go back, and the text messages they mention some of the things that we don't they happen even during the past regime, where ministers and deputies can even fight publicly. Then we can wait at the way forward, a permanent solution to this, not only limited to this government, but in the future. And Alpha Khan, some messages then come for you. Can respond to them, then we come and...
Yes, there are three we take note of. We say who gives the targets for performance to the ministries and agencies, and who's responsible for their implementation. That's very clear. The president appoints a minister or a head of an agency. Ministers, first of all, sign their performance targets, given performance tracking tables over a specific period, time limit, what they call benchmarks. So now the minister, at the end of the day, responsible for the ministry and all the agencies below that person there. So when intake on, it goes back to the ministry now, call heads of his agencies and things like that, they distribute them. So when the time comes for me to collect results, for meet up the PTA submission, they all get for come to they sit down, they agree on what has been achieved, what is ongoing, and what has not been done. And three red codes, green, amber, and red. So then they will go back now and go able to get pass mark, depending on how many he's been able to do, or they go reprimand them, say, look, you have to work faster. So now the minister or the head of the agency are responsible for bringing this to. At the end of the day, at the minister, they go to president. Then Mr. Tunde scored. They say in public and private disagreements, you know, the people they suffer. But this not time immemorial. It's been going on. You don't talk. We maybe now we psyche as a people we get for understand the difference between personal interests and official interests. So make we grow. Me, I've been minister I've been minister in the last government for 11 years. I don't be minister in this government. I don't one day get problem with my deputy. Not once. That is why when I not been seeing my name then commission of inquiry, because nobody no go write anything against me. I not do nothing. You could say that. That's a discussion for another day. You get Mr. Okay, somebody else asked, said the VP role. Yes, it is clearly stated in the Constitution. He is the principal assistant to the president. And he could take the tasks where the president hand over to him. But the day where the president is incapable of performing those tasks, they are around, he is the one who represents the president and does the work of a president. Now in the role of the vice president.
Ministers.
I don't tell you. Well, we just make a corollary with waiting the vice president and president do. The deputy minister is supposed to be the principal assistant of the minister. In which case, you go sit down and wait. The minister receive his own performance tracking targets. He come, he share around with him, he tell her waiting for do, and all that. Then he go help one for supervise the agencies, and also for where they go. But for say when they go per meeting, the minister, the deputy, the day, but the deputy, no. When the minister is there, now you hold the seat for that ministry, and now you go look to. You later on, they go mention. You say, well, you do. Well done. So when you call and say, well, I can introduce all the people who are here. So the person who is at MC of that day, you go mention, you say day. But when it comes to having to speak on behalf of the ministry and all, not the minister and they ask.
In a situation, the minister, who saying deputy minister, they delegate that authority to other staff na the ministry instead of a deputy minister, and they're all in at the same occasion.
Which one?
No, we don't want to call names.
No. Which one? Delegate a responsibility to somebody who's not the minister or deputy?
Yes, within the same program.
If it is a political issue, no mistake. The policy of the ministry, the political management of the ministry, and the minister supported by the deputy minister. Everybody else, now bureaucracy. Unless, of course, if not something we definitely just get to do with the bureaucracy, you can hand over to the SP or the PS or some director.
But most technically, if we were in the meeting, let's say Ministry of Information, we then can organize them Thursday press conference, deputy minister and the minister did, and the minister tell maybe I say, okay, me deputy, the director of so will go there and attend that meeting. He will refer back to me. He's not committing a crime. And it not mean say he sidestep the deputy minister, and because if that thing is technical issue, it requires the people with the technical hands for able to do that. The challenge would they get is would they get people within a ministry with different aims and expectations, and that can lead to detention.
Now continue for stay with me inside the program. Good morning, Salon.
Beside the program, we take one per other headlines to the acting executive director on Center for Accountability and Rule of Law, Carl Jeremy Bensimbo, asked President Bio for set up one committee for investigating National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, the investment them. Jeremy Bensimbo talked this for one meeting with the media, but talk about one press statement where they call message to President Bio winner action now to secure workers' retirement savings at NASIT. Kaifa to come to get more in Gona reports.
The National Social Security and Insurance Trust NASIT na public institution when it created inside 2001 with the National Social Security and Insurance Trust Act 2001. The aim na for give social security scheme to people wey don retire and for make them people here go get other benefits them. So NASIT them work na for make sure say them get at the couple them where people don't they give them during the time where they're strong and able for work, so that when they're old, NASIT go provide for them the benefits. For sake of this make NASIT inside the past year them, don't they do plenty projects them, where them think say can come with money and help them for able for get small couple, for keep the couple where people and they give them. This thing can do two different projects them. But concerned on they, when cancel some of them projects where NASIT don't they do. This being them, concern come out from the minister, where they supervise NASIT. That's not the Ministry of Labour, Employment and Social Security. where the minister na Mohamed Rahman Soare, the concern inside one interview with sister media institution, Truth Media, but the way how NASIT they handle Salone people and savings.
The investments are not to the best of my mind doing well. They are not doing well. We could do better. Well, they were bad contracts in the first place, but there is hope here. The president don't take them very personally, the board don't take them very personally, but this is something we very close to. We don't get several meetings on all the investments there, so it's not been one-off thing. That's all they treat very seriously.
Now, for sake of this concern, make the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law CAL, when a civil society organization, where they watch accountability and rule of law in the country, they think say the president need for come inside for protect people their retirement savings because of them what they are from the minister.
CAL itself urges the president to ensure a full independent audit of NASI's investment portfolio and the immediate recovery of all misuse or lost funds. As custodian of billions in workers' money and one of Sierra Leone's largest institutional investors, NASIT has a legal and fiduciary duty to safeguard those funds with transparency, sound governance, and strong returns. The duty is in question. For years, major NASIT projects have underperformed or stalled. 1. Sarah Aka Poultry Project, Sumuya. 2. SCPL Block Making Factory, Angola Town. 3. Regimental Gray Estate, Godrich. 4. Kimbima Hotel. 5. Bo Plaza. 6. Land Banks, Ebo, etc., etc.
You will listen to the acting executive director at the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law CAL, Jeremy Ben Simbo, we say the institution concerned because this na contribution where people them they pay and they need them pension, but then work away na sit down they do and don't spend plenty copper per investor them, but 1/8 until no come out and self-concern day. Jeremy Ben Simbo continue for talk about the recommendation them when they give to government and self-NASIT for look.
We call on the president and NASIT to immediately audit and recover, conduct a comprehensive independent review of all investments and recover funds where there has been underperformance, management, or loss. 2. Reform an investment strategy. Adopt a forward-looking, commercially viable investment plan. Focus on sustainable, long-term returns for contributors. 3. Strengthen governance. Enforce merit-based recruitment, promotion, and deployment. Ensure the Board of Trustees provides active oversight and that board decisions are implemented without delay. Invest in technical expertise for investment management, risk management, and pension administration. And finally, guarantee timely benefits. Make prompt payment of pensions a core performance target. Retirees should not wait for what they have earned. NASIT is not just another public agency. It holds the life savings of Sierra Leonean workers.
Jeremy Ben Simbo and say then go continue for look inside NASIT then different projects them. What did they do in the country? For say Salone people the way they pay them couple to NASIT during the time when they work benefits for Ready democracy. Be once forget NASIT for no waiting and think about this, but the institution not ready for pull any official statements yet. But say then concern when they get na that cannot inform them or ask them any of them questionnaire, but them projects here for Ready Democracy. Mina Karifa to contain the reports.
Today we come back to we studio guest them and talk to Dr. Idris Tarawali. We don't see these issues that they happen from past governments them and they happen at the moment. What do you think is the way forward?
One is let government see, is there anything government can do to resolve these issues? My uncle say, which is something that we know, there is no clear-cut job description for a deputy minister. Is this something that government wants to consider, first of all, for say? Although also, you know, once for create a situation where a deputy minister will say, no, I saw the law saying I'm supposed to do this, right? You know, for create that situation there. And in places, I don't use the UK example, plenty, who say you have Secretary of State for Education and you have junior ministers in charge of universities, in charge of secondary schools and all this other things. Yeah, they put her into sectors, right? Mm-hmm. But even within that sector, the Secretary of State for Education He's still the supervising minister. He's still the.
So, Doc, is it that they call for now State House begin determine the job description?
I am not essentially. I am not essentially saying who for do this. I am just saying because if people choose for, not for corporate, by even creating job description, it leads to more chaos. If people are not changing their attitude, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So imagine, say, when you appoint a deputy minister now, you say you're a deputy minister of education in charge of basic education. In fact, by doing that, if people are not really one for corporate, then they create more chaos, right? Because when the minister go now by email, they say, oh, not to me, not to your job, not to your supposed to go there. Now, me own mandate, right? So I'm saying to you, State House should now sit and think, say, what is the best way out for dealing with this problem? Because this is perennial, right? You don't do it over and over. Off air, we'll just be talk about the challenges where they happen at works, the challenges where they happen at tourism. Is it a good time right now to think about this? Another one. Second, is it a pairing problem? Sometimes it's just the character of people. Maybe this minister not the work with this deputy minister. Maybe if he gets somewhat different, maybe these two people can work. So this is the job of cabinet. And the chair of cabinet, the head of cabinet is the president. He might not do that directly. He can use other surrogates, right? Secretary to president, the chief minister, and all these other things for ensure what are these problems? Why are we having these problems? And how do we deal with them? But fundamentally, and this is for me the most important way forward, Musa.
Okay.
We need to do governance education significantly so that a good number of these ministers, with respect to them, come into public office with little or limited education about how government functions. They get limited education. Look at foreign staff. In places like the US and the UK, you have career diplomats. Postings like Sierra Leone, like the Gambia and all these other things here, not to people that with the presidents they appoint. In Sierra Leone, 99.99% of almost all our ambassadorial positions are all political appointees. Somebody can move from being a teacher. I'm not saying teachers can't be good diplomats, right? But you get people who don't be career diplomat for a very long time. So by the time he goes there, he understands the ethos of diplomacy and public policy, foreign policy engagement, right? So it's time now for we do political and governance education of our ministers. When you get to the ministry, what is your role? Whether you get job description, whether your minister assign you certain things or not, what is your role as a minister? So that ministers don't clash with we clear that clearly. And perhaps an ending note in terms of way forward is to go back to these appointees and say, you have a unique opportunity to serve your country. Do you want to go there and go make palaver with your colleague? Or you want to go there and make a lasting impact on the lives of citizens? Anytime a minister and a deputy minister quarrel, anytime you're not in good working order, anytime tension happens, remember, ordinary Leonians are suffering, and that is not what the intent of the president.
Thank you very much, Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawali, head of political science now from a college and head of international idea. Inside the program, we discussed the topic, but the challenge or the misunderstanding we can be between some ministers and deputy ministers. I come to the presidential spokesman in your rounding up statements in 2 minutes. What's in the way forward?
I think to say that we need governance education is right. But more particularly, we need people to let them make themselves aware and conversant with the existing constitution of Sierra Leone. Everybody's role where president they appoint is described in there. President get right for appoint ministers, call them anything. The only minister is fixed in the constitution, like you say, is the Minister of Justice, who shall be Attorney General. Now you change them. That is why people say that we disconnect Attorney General from Minister. We can't do that until we change the constitution. But the other ministers, President go. But their roles are specified there. So get used to that. For us, we are lucky. We went through Parliament. And Parliament, for me, is the best school of governance. Who come out now, who can inside government, who don't get the rudiments of running a country. Now, Mr. Follett, I end up with, I want to know the people that know say, we get this ECOWAS meeting. After 45 years, we don't get them back. But we owe a lot to ECOWAS. ECOWAS na yengi we ECOMOG. We can fight for we. Now tell this when and come, let we show say we appreciate. So I talk to everybody, may they own this up. It is a way of saying thank you to ECOWAS. And also for say, we not only need for Levi president, don't be soldier na ECOMOG. But today, he able to be ECOWAS chairman at the same time. That will give hope to other people.
We therefore spend time look at this ECOWAS meeting, proper one. Plenty thank you for joining me today edition of the program. Presidential spokesman Alhaji Alpha Kanu. Today we look at the disagreement we can be between government ministers and deputy ministers. Some of them can agree and waiting at the impact we this gets on governance and service delivery. Plenty thank you to the presidential spokesman and also the head of departments for political science for Bay College. We see Musuna the head for international idea, Dr. Idris Mahmoud Tarawali. Now this edition of the program, Good Morning Salon Golefi for today. Plenty thank you to the producer Sabti Kalon. We Kabia support and thank you to DJ Sugarcane for technical support and Mary Kamara Bangra for me kuna see live now with Facebook. So today Musa Kamade say have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
And Adeyemi Jackson is a goodbye.